There we go. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I hear a little
think
bit of the
everybody's
drums in the
excited. Can
background,
y'all
hyping
feel
themselves
this?
up.
Y'all
That's it.
feel
Yeah.
I
this?
know.
Woo, I'm
I'm
ready.
wiggling in my seat. I'm ready.
Yeah. Let's go.
Huh? You serious?
All right,
That's
on
it,
down to
that's
the
it.
ground as Arctic lands with a big splash with that superhero landing. Still running the Pyromancer, definitely rocking the class that they prefer. And wait a second, what's happening here? I'm not sure.
Looks
Nope.
like another reset.
All
Ooh,
right, we may have another reset.
one thing to maybe mention while we're in this quick reset period, Timmy, Skymaster.
Oh gosh. Don't pay no attention to him. Sky Master, what's
Hey,
up,
what?
buddy?
Sky Master, huh?
Ooh, wait a second, pay attention. Sky Master
Yes,
with 20
I was
gifted
gonna say.
subs. Let's
Oh
go.
my lord, what
Woo!
is
What are we talking
this?
about? Sky Master.
Oh,
Sky
Shoo.
20
Master is
gifted.
basically my brother. We
Damn.
grew up together. Awesome,
Oh
incredible
wow.
friend.
Love to see it.
Thank you,
Huge
bro.
shout
I
out.
appreciate you.
That's
Huge
what
love,
friends are
huge
for, isn't
love.
it? Supporting their homies. You
Let's
love to see it.
go.
We do.
100%.
We love to see it.
That's
Awesome
huge.
stuff. Big hypes in chat. We love to see it.
Yeah, everybody make sure if you did get a nice gifted sub, make sure you say thank you and enjoy all the stuff that comes along with being part of this community. We also have a link for the SGC. So you guys want to donate to the SGC and provide money and support for prizes and stuff in the future. I believe it's in the chat. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. If not, one of my moderators will provide it for you all very shortly. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming through and showing support for what we do. It helps us keep doing what we do. And thanks so much, Sky. We love you. OP in the chat too, OG.
Woo!
Yes, a lot,
To
and that's one thing that we have to talk about, LD and Sloth. We did talk a little bit about it before, but the cool thing about these type of events and these type of organizations, and just to remind y'all, it's not just competitive. We have casual events too. Is it brings a lot of the old breakers, a lot of the OGs that's been part of the community for a long time, even if they're not playing the game still, they will come to either watch or lurk in the chat or participate if they want to test themselves, see if they still got it. And that's just, I mean, we've talked about it so much, but I think it's something that if you're not part of, it's hard to understand why we talk about it so much, because this community is so special and so close, and we want you guys to be part of it. So join in and find out something special that, in my opinion, as a gamer that's been part of gaming for decades, because I'm an old man, is special. You don't get to find a community like this in every gaming community that you go to.
Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly.
I've as you say, I've been around gaming all my life from a very young age, and I'm getting on in the years now, but I've never once found a community that has been as welcoming, as nurturing, and with as little toxicity. Every community has a little bit in their bad eggs, of course, but this one doesn't. Really. Like, I think we might have had a couple of disputes well in the early days, but
yeah,
I don't remember the last time there was anyone that was just super toxic and made you feel like, oh, I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah, the community doesn't really like vibe with that very much.
No.
It's kind of like a whole energy. The whole community, we're protective of it, but we are inviting to everybody, and we just want them to know you're welcome. But just show love, respect, and kindness to each other, because that's what you should get. So that's what we should get. You know, everybody should treat each other that way, and that mentality is so prevalent in this community. And I'm so proud to be part of it, and I'm so proud that we're into this match, ladies and gentlemen. Jumping on down,
let's get it going.
and Arctic is landing again like a superhero. Going to be taking this first point as these players do not waste any time. Oh my gracious, the speed!
Those are the fastest caps I've seen all evening.
Wow! Huge caps, a huge speed on the looting. He's wearing the Speed Demon outfit. Definitely living up to the name. Rocking that alacrity right into, just skating right into that first bit of loot. And we said it was a race for leveling up your talents and getting these items, but this team is showing that it's also a race just to get to the loot. And right now they're winning the race. Oh my Lord.
Exactly. And quite an interesting build here from Arctic as well. I don't think we've seen many DF gamers here tonight. Seeing the
Ooh.
fire with the Tox offhand, really interesting to see. The prevalent Spring Step rune as well, very much used within the community. As Timmy said much earlier, shortest cooldown in the game. Very good mobility rune. Super fun stuff. But I think we're getting a few little comms in here, which is super interesting to hearing some call outs from the enemy team. Hopefully we can see if they can pull it together, but it's 1 point between it at the moment. Sloth, what are you thinking so far on the game?
Just seen Arctic make a mistake that we have all, and I will not take no for an answer from you two on this one, right? We have all been guilty of this, is trying to use your level 2 skill without having level 2.
Pyro's the number 1 for it, bro. You know how many times I burned myself? Jeez.
Dude, it's either that or Tox trying to VM and just ending up in your cloud with no armor. It's just like, oh man, really?
Yeah, I've done it for sure. I'm quite lucky with Stone Shaper. Bedrock isn't too big of a difference. It's just my drop speed. But yeah, I've definitely been expecting to hit some shots, and I'm kind of falling at this rate instead of the normal bonk that I'm expecting.
Huge pick coming out there. Huge pick coming out there as Arctic does try to hide behind his firewall just a little bit and slam that ground for some nice wait, did he have no? He was actually throwing the fireball and throwing out some nice toxic slaps. I'm sorry about that. Does eventually get pushed in on as the Frost Lance tags him in the head and he will go down for the count. 0 exiles on his scoreboard so far. And playing this Pyromancer with the DF, like we said, very awesome to see because we haven't really seen any other players do it. And that's one of the things that's beautiful about this game. When players take what they want to play and make it work at a high level. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with Arctic jumping on in to find some more loot, seeing a really strong use and a strong reliance on that firewall. It's going to be one of the best weapons in your arsenal as a Pyromancer. Not only is it an instant cast, it's got a long range of damage. You can put it right down on an opponent's feet and do some damage. You can ignite clouds from a distance in an instant, and it acts as a very good guard or a good blind. If somebody's trying to shoot you with frost, that firewall is going to protect you. If you're just trying to hide and recall or heal, put up the firewall, let it kind of put a little of a curtain in front of you, a little bit of a blind in front of you, and use that little bit of safety to get back into the game. And we see that big time happening from Arctic over and over. Not been able to secure any exiles just yet, but doing a lot of movement and a lot of damage pumping out as he does quest for these last little bit of upgrades on these talents.
Even these fire puddles being left behind can really help be a hindrance to a frostborn. As a frostborn myself, there's been so many times where I've lined up a shot and all of a sudden they've just shot the floor in front of them. Oh great, now I can't. Now I've got to waste 2 shots, which is all of my mana, just to try and get him.
Exactly, that's it. One thing I did notice, Timmy, I think you were right on your call there with Kyrie coming in with the Stone Shaper. Does look like she is on that Stone Shaper class at the moment. I know we don't have that POV up right now, but I've just noticed down in my bottom left corner that we do have Kyrie on the Stone with the fire offhand. So let's see what she can do with this. It is extremely tight at the minute, 26-25, and I think it's going to be like that for the whole game. Hearing some big call outs as well from what I believe is Wet Fish's team. You love to hear it. Although we did just see Arctic take down Wet Fish and took out Gecko as well. Kyrie came in quick with that one. You love to see it.
That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? We did call it. You called the Halcyon choice. I called the choice on Stone Shaper. And this is definitely exactly what we said. It's not just about the class you're playing. It's not just about your mechanics in the game. It's about your decision-making before you even step foot in the HoloLens. And right now, this team on Kyrie, super team coming in, living up to their name big time. They made a plan. They're executing it well. And they're ahead right now by 4 points. A little bit of a difference from the last game that we saw. Stone Shaper coming through big time and really punishing those players that thought that Stone Shaper was nothing to worry about, especially if you're a fly boy or fly girl up in the air. Those Stone Shaper it's going to take you by surprise because you don't expect it. And this play, as long as this team keeps it up, super team might be looking at maybe a 3-round match here. We'll see.
Also worth noting that while we've got some people that have changed their class, as you say, Kyrie's gone to a Stone class to see if that's going to give them a better of an advantage. Fish still sticking with that conduit fire. And to be fair, the way he's been playing it all evening with potential energy on the class itself, he's got Wellspring in the pocket. And then he's also picking up every mana boon that he can to go along with. I can't remember the name. I think it might still be potential energy. If not, it's the tier 3 one where you get after a thundershock, you get 5 seconds of free mana. I mean, if you've got up to your maximum 100 mana, and you've got a 5-second boost of unlimited mana, and you've got damage mods upon damage mods, the amount of damage you can put out with that build is just insane.
100%.
Fry people
Beautiful
here.
play coming through here. Arctic getting pushed back a little bit, trying to get back to the back lines, relying on the teammates, but waiting for him is another player. But it looks like they're able to turn around, and Kyrie Caitlin will pick up one on the delicious wet fish, as these players are doing a great job of staying really well together. There for a second, we saw a bit of a pushback as Gecko's wet thigh started to close that lead gap quite a bit, got down to 1 point difference, but now we're back up to 3 as these players are just making really great decisions. We see Arctic taking time to go ahead and recall. He's very low, no chance to reset, so he's going to recall, get out of that danger, get himself back down to help out his teammates as soon as possible. And then we see him also, like I said, retreating back to that back line, relying on his teammates there to be able to help him out of trouble. And if he gets there and they need help, he's going to be there to help them. Right now, I want to point out that we first of all, the fights in this lobby and in this round are all over the place. Normally, we see these teams kind of trying to pick a spot and kind of secure that spot and making the enemy team fight around that. Right now, we just see action going pretty much everywhere, which is really interesting. But the fact that we also have listening in on the comms is really, really nice, because one thing I'm noticing is the lack thereof, which means they're not saying things in comm that doesn't need to be said. That voice, that sound space is there, and it's very important not to fill it with nonsense, trash that's not relevant to the game. And this team is very, very aware of it, and they're playing it well. Only the call outs are being said, only the things that are important, only the information that needs to be relayed to the teammates are being said, and those comms are going to be a huge factor on winning or losing this round.
100%. And there's obviously the few bits and pieces that can get to you in a game like this, whether it be something wrong with the game itself, whether it be a mistake that you've made in your gameplay. But the fact that you can kind of just overcome those, and with a good strategy, just reevaluate that and just go for it again, it can honestly just change how the game turns out.
Exactly, that's it. And there's so much play to be had here as well. As to me, you were saying, just the impeccable minimal comms are such a huge thing. I mean, I know that was something, Sloth, I know you can agree with me here, is when we were doing Juhi's Tourney, some huge thing that made such a massive difference were the comms. And when we cut down the unnecessary stuff, we started performing so much better, because you're just getting the information you need and acting on it. You know, sound is a huge thing as well. You know, making sure that you can hear the footsteps behind you of someone coming in for a flank. You hear a toxicologist with their VM. You know, you hit them hear that you hear them hit that tox cloud. You're absolutely ready to then turn around and have some kind of defense. So having constant comms in the background of unnecessary stuff can actually be more detrimental to the team than you might first think. You know, oh, maybe it's best to have all of the detail. We know exactly what's going on, but team synergy plays a big part in the amount of comms needed. And if you've got that team synergy there, you just need the bare minimum and you're ready to go.
Sometimes you can't help yourself, and you've actually just got to remind yourself, because as you were saying then, I distinctly remember during that arena tournament that Dewey put on, that we physically had to take a step back and all tell ourselves, look, we're molding, we're getting salty, this is affecting our gameplay, we need good comms, we need effective comms, and we need to sort it out now.
That's exactly what it takes.
Yeah, it's a trap that everyone falls into or can fall into, but as long as you've got that at least one of your team to be the voice that's like, guys, drag it in, comms channels are for comms only, we can talk about whatever we did wrong in that game afterwards, but for now it's got to be a case of, this guy's here, they're one, that person's over there, they're one, okay, I've got two on me, I need backup.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of that going on right there. And unfortunately, Arctic will be the recipient of those comms, as he is really, honestly, I just got to take a second as a pyromancer just to say how proud I am to see this pyro come through. And he is holding no punches. He is W King. He's aggressive. He is playing pyro the way that you play pyro. and he's being successful at a high level, and that is not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really proud to see it. But definitely some big comms coming in there. You see him for a second. He got down to less than 10 HP. He was able to use that firewall as a nice blind. He was able to use that spring step to get some more movement and almost got away. But as you were saying, literally, as you were saying, the call outs are important. Get that guy that's down to 1. Arctic goes down to Delicious Wetfish that most definitely got called. Somebody said, hey, Arctic's 1, get Arctic, and then Arctic got by the Lightning Gauntlet. And that is so important because different players on your team have different tools for different objectives. So a conduit user or a lightning user will be the go-to person that you want to ping and say, that person's low, they're trying to run away, because they can very easily clean that up, especially with the line of sight. But we're going to see some more action pushing on in with Arctic pushing really close with 0 armor on hand. Does he have 0? Does he have a belt?
I'm getting pushed.
No, so I think what's happening here is we see Arctic has got vigor and has maxed it out. So I think what he's doing is knowing that he's got the extra 50 health from vigor against any other players that aren't running vigor, he's using them extra boons. You know, you see the legendary spring step and the legendary fire gauntlet. You know, maybe he's trading out a little bit of survivability for the damage. We see nothing gone into the Tox Gauntlet, which is quite interesting, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe the Tox Gauntlet is purely there for the Dragonfire potential, and the fire is going to be the main damage output. But we're seeing a recall here to get a little bit of a heal up. Maybe we'll see some armor boom pickups here, especially since they do have a inventory full of armor shards, just kind of raring to go. But there we go. We see the first armor boom picked up. So this might be where we see that Arctic has decided, you know what, I've got my damage out, I've got my spring step, I've got my fire gauntlet, I've just maxed out my talents. Now it's time to fill out the rest of my build and get a bit more survivability.
It is interesting, and you can see that Arctic really knows how to play his classes, because not only is he using the firewalls to protect himself from any potential frost and tox damage incoming, but he's also using his tox cloud to protect himself from any conduit damage incoming. Because obviously he knows that the firewall is absolutely no protection against the lightning whatsoever. So he's going to use his offhand. And I think you're right in what you were saying there, Elder Gold, is his Tox Gauntlet in this scenario is literally just a support gauntlet for that extra tick damage to make the Dragonfire. I don't think he's, or you can see he has not used it, I think, in the entirety of this besides for clouds.
He's really turning things that most players use for offensive things into utility, and it's beautiful, and it's big brain, and it's what we're here for. It's why Spellbreak tournaments and organized competitive Spellbreak is some of the best to watch, period. But I am like biting my nails. 92 to 91, 92 to 90,
and it's even.
Even. We have 1 minute left on the clock. 1 minute left on the clock. This is live or die.
You can hear by the comms, things are getting intense for them both
95, 94, less than a minute on the clock. Arctic
95, 95. It's all to play for here now.
Game.
Oh my gosh, this is so close. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. We're going back in with the fireball. Quick flick onto the toes as a player.
An outcome that we haven't considered yet, guys. Are we about to see our first draw?
Ooh. We'll see. I hope not. We'll see.
We've got 20 seconds for one of them to take a point lead. Otherwise, we've got our first draw on our hands here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can see Arctic playing extremely defensively here. Does not want to be the one that has that final point taken out.
Both teams seem to be doing the same thing. Both of them like jabbing.
Come on, he's so close. 9 seconds.
Can they finish it?
One shot. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, lost their life a second. And they've done it. Oh my god, what a clutch.
Edge it out at the last second. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my lord! No one teammate stands out. Even exiles, even amount of damage output from that whole team. I'm with LD. I got to give a little applause on that. Incredible, both teams. I mean.
That's
from the get-go, we saw Super Team came back in with something to prove. Kyrie Caitlin switching it up to counter the Tempest a little bit, making some changes in their strategy that came through, and they were looking strong the entire time. At the last just couple of minutes, the enemy team comes back and starts pushing right back, pushes them up against the wall. It gets down to even at the last second. All the focus. There was a little bit of hesitance because they didn't want to be the kill to get got, but full aggression there at the last second, full focus fire coming in from Super Team Arctic able to come through with that big fire damage, and they get the last exile they need with 5 seconds on the clock. This is what SGC is about, ladies and gentlemen.
100%.
That's it.
Absolutely insane. And during that absolute chaos and insanity that we've just witnessed, we've also had an upset in the losers round where Runic Abyss have they ground their way from the very beginning of the losers bracket right up to the quarterfinal, and Dumb Ways to Die just come in and end that streak.
Beautiful, gorgeous, exactly. Love to see it. That's exactly what we're here for, and that's exactly what we hope to see even more going into our final round of our winners finals. But before we do that, we do need to take a 30-minute break. You guys, make sure you go get yourself a bite to eat, get yourself something to drink, get up and stretch, use the restroom, whatever you need to do. We'll be returning back here on this stream in about 30 minutes. And we want to say thank you so much for being here and supporting the Spellbreak gaming community. Again, !SGC will give you the link over to the Discord so you can hang out for the 30 minutes with people over there if you want. Thanks for being here. My name's Timmy. That's LD Gold. That's Sloth. And we'll see you guys in just a bit.
We'll be back
later.